Yeah. Now we want to look at how to solve logarithmic equations. Logarithmic equations, and remember, an equation is just an expression in mathematics that has an equal to sign. And logarithmic equations are equations that involve logarithm problems. And remember how we do write our logarithm. We use the abbreviation log, which is log. Then we'll put the log here. That's a log of a number. That's a A. Then we'll put the base here. That is to base B. So ensure you remember that. So generally, for any logarithmic equation, if log A to base B is equal to C, to get the final answer in a particular logarithmic equation, we do use the rule of Antilog. And what is that? It states that if log A to base B is equal to C, therefore this log here, which is the A, must be equal to the base raised power the other side, which is C. So our A must be equal to the base here, which is B, raised to power the other side, which is C. So must be equal to B raised to power what? Raised to power C. So please take note of this rule. It's very important. If I have log A to base B is equals to C, therefore this A here must be equal to this B raised to power this C. So let's say we have something like this. Now let's say we have log x to base 5 is equals to 0. What will be x? What is s? Remember the rule. If you have log A to base B equal to C, what you have here, which is A, must be equal to anything you have here, which is B, is by what you have here, which is C. So following this same rule now, following this same rule in this particular question. So what is representing A here? Look at it, x. What is representing B? 5. What is representing C is 0. You can see it. So applying the same rule here so that you have something like this. So our x, which is acting at the log, must be equal to the base, which is 5, raised power the other side, which is 0. So from here now, s is equal to, if you have a whole number raised power 0, it will be, or if you have a number raised power 0 other than 0, it will be 1 from the rules of indices. So that is the value of s. S must be equal to 1 for you to have this logarithmic equation. For this equation to be valid, s must be equal to 1. So let's try more equations. Now let's see log x to base 9 is equals to 0. So what will be the answer to this one now? If I say you should do it, our x will be equal to what? 9 raised power what? 0. That is equals to 1 as well. Then let's say we have let's say we're having log x to be 6 is equals to 1. What will be x? Remember, s must be equal to the base, which is 6, raised power the other side, which is what? 1. So s is equals to 6. So you don't have to get the method. That is, if you're able to get the method, you're already good to go. Very good to go. So if let's say you have log x to base e is equals to 1. What will be x? Remember, s will be equal to this raised power x. So will be equal to exponential raised power 1, which is to give us exponential. Because anything raised power 1 will remain the same if you don't change. So look at more examples. Alright, let's say we are having the question. Let's say we have log s square to base 10 is equal to 2. Let's say we want to find x here. What will be x? So the first let's check. The log is s squared. We have log s squared. So this log here, remember what we have been doing. The log there, which is s squared, must be equal to the base here, which is 10, raised power this other side, which is 2. So from here now, since you have s squared here and you want to find x, what you have to do, you just take the square root of this side so that it will cancel out these two. So let's square root that can cancel out these two. Then if you are taking the square root of this side, you also take the square root of this other side so that the thing will be balanced. So we now have s is equals to, if you take the square root of this side, and these two also cancel this square root, and we are going to have will be 10. Simple as A, B, C, D. So let me look at this. Log x cube. If you have log s cube to base let's see, to base 10, let me use base 7 now. To base 7 is equals to 1. What will be our x? Remember what you have here as the log, which is s cube, must be equal to this base, which is 7, is by anything you have here, which is 1 now. So from here now, if I tell you now what is s cube, what is x, because this one is, we have s cube now, it's equal to 7 raised to power 1 will give us what? Will give us 7. To find s now, just as we took the square root of this side because of this square, what we have here now is cube. So you take this cube root now, not square root, because only cube root that can cancel cube. As I take the cube root of this side, then also take the cube root of this other side. So this will cancel this, but there's nothing here with 7. So x will be equal to the cube root of 7. That will be x. The cube root of 7, or 7 raised to power 1 over 3. Any of them is correct, because anything cube root means that number raised to power 1 over 3. Anything root means the number raised to power 1 over the root. If it is fourth root, 1 over 4, square root 1 over 2, cube root 1 over 3, raised to power 1 over 3. That's how the thing is. Remember, the nth root of a is equals to a raised to power. Let me just quickly look at that so that you see it. Remember, we said the nth root of a is equals to a raised to power 1 over n. So if this one is square 2 now, it's going to be 2, so it's 3, it's going to be 3, it's going to be 4, it's going to be 4. That's how the stuff is. Now let's look at something. Let's look at this question. Log. I would like you to try this one yourself now before watching the solution. Log 4 s raised to power 4 is equals to 5. Also, s raised to power 4 base 5 is equals to 8. Find x. So I would like you to do this one yourself now before poking your nose into the solving. So if you want to solve this now, you just take what is here, which is s4, must be equal to the base. Remember the rule, the first rule, raised to power anything in this other side, which is 8. So the next thing now, we have s4 is equals to 5 raised to power 8. So to cancel out this 4 now, what are you going to do? When I wanted to cancel out 2, I took square root. When I had to cancel out 3, I took cube root. If I want to cancel out that 4, now what am I going to do? I'm going to take 4th root. Just ensure you know all these things. Then if you take the 4th root of this side, also take the 4th root of this other side. So that this will cancel this root. Our s now will be, look at what we are going to do now. We have 5 raised to power 8. What's the meaning of 4th root? Raised to power. Remember I told you nth root of a means a raised to power 1 over n. If it is m, if you say m or root of a, it will still be a raised to power 1 over m. So the 4th root of 5 raised to power 8 is 5 raised to power 8 raised to power what? 1 over 4. So 4 here, 1. 4 here, 4 into 8, you are going to have 2. So that is 5 squared. So s will be equal to 5 raised to power 2, which is 25. So actually, in this question now, s is equal to 25. 5. That's how it is. So I want to give you one to do now. Okay, if you have something like this, I want you to try this one yourself before checking the answer. Log s square to base 5 is equals to 2. Find x. Find x. Find x. So try and do this one yourself to see if you get the answer. So pause this video, do it. Now, if you want to do this now, anything you have which is s square, or you go to what you have which is 5, is power what you have which is 2. So next thing, take the square root of this one so that we cancel out that 2. Then also take the square root of this other side. This 2 will cancel square root. These 2 can also cancel square root. That s will now be equal to 5. It's as simple as that. Now let's look at more questions. Now let's assume we have this question. Let's assume we are asked to express, for example, now there are some questions in which you'll be asked to express y in terms of x. Say express y in terms of x in the equation. Let's say log 4x to base 10 is equal to 3 plus y. So then that means express y in terms of x means make x the subject of the formula. That's what that trying to say. So just do the same thing. What is here must be equal to what is here raised to power everything the other side. That means 4x will be equal to 10 raised to power 3 plus y. That's what we are going to have. So remember something like this. Remember a raised to power m times a raised to power n will be equal to a raised to power what? M plus n. That's what I want to express. I want to apply here now. That is 3 plus y. That 10 raised to power 3 plus y. So 10 raised to power 3 times 10 raised to power y is same thing as 10 raised to power what? 3 plus y. Can you see it? So instead of me to write it at 10 raised to power 3 plus y, I'll write it at 10 raised to power 3 times 10 raised to power y, just as a raised to power m plus n is equal to a raised to power m times a raised to power n. That's what I want to do now. So let's quickly do that so that we will simplify it more and get our final answer. So we're going to have 4x is equals to 10 raised to power 3 times 10 raised to power what? Y. Then next, we're going to have 4x is equals to 10 raised to power 3 is going to give us 1000. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Times 10 raised to power y. So this is going to give us something nice. Divide both side by 4. We're going to divide both side by 4 now so that s will be free. We're going to have 4x over 4 is equals to 10 raised to power 3. I want to move this thing back to 10 raised to power 3. Or you can still leave it at 1000. And just then because of space, 10 raised to power y. The next thing, just divide everything here by 4 as well. So that 4 cancel 4, s will be equal to 4 here 1, 4 into this place, that's 250. That's 250. That's 250 times 10 raised to power what? Y. So that can be an answer to this particular problem. Yeah, that is the answer. So all right, now let's look at this question. Look at this question. If log s square minus 8x plus 18 is equal to But to base 8, look at the base 8 to base 8 is equal to 1 over 3. Find x. That's the question. Find x. Now, the reason you are seeing this bracket here is because they are trying to tell you everything in this place is acting as 1. That's what they're trying to tell you. So everything here now is 1. Just want something like they are together. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not that they are equal to 1. No. I'm trying to tell you that they are together. They are like A, B, C that we did before when we started this topic. So remember what we were doing the first time. Anything in this place, that is the single thing there, not just check now. This one is acting as a single unit because of this bracket. So this in this place now, which is s squared minus 8x plus 18 is acting as 1. So that's our A now. Must be equal to this base, which is B, raised to power anything in this place, which is C. 1 over 3. I don't know if you understand it. Everything here is acting as 1. That is our A. That is A. If log A to base B is equals to C, therefore A must be equal to B raised to power C. That's what I'm trying to say. So next, what is the cube root of 8? The cube root of 8 is equals to 2. Take note of that. Or 8 raised to power 1 over 3. It means cube root of 8 is equals to 2. That's it. So since that's equal to 2, you put the 2 here. The next you move the 2 to this other side, we're going to have s squared minus 8x plus 18 minus 2 is equal to 0. It's equal to what? 0. Now, what am I going to do? Let me clean the board first. So remember, we're having s squared minus 8x plus 18 minus 2 is equals to 0. So the next, we are going to have s squared minus 8x, 18 minus 2 plus 16 is equal to 0. So next, let's solve this quadratic equation now to see what we're going to have. How do we solve quadratic equation? Now, the only way I will show you how to, the only way I'm going to show you now is the formula method, the almighty formula, the one they call almighty formula, because that one can solve any quadratic equation. Because the factorization method can solve those that are factorizable only. So let's use the almighty formula. So this s here will be equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So what you have to do in this formula method now, what you have to do is just to something like impute a, b, c here. Which one is a, which one is b? Look at a. A means the coefficient of this s square, which is 1, because there's no coefficient there. If there's no coefficient, it means it's 1. That is 1. Then b means the coefficient of the second term that don't have square, but we're still having this unknown here, which is this s square, that is minus 8. That is b, the coefficient of s, which is minus 8. Then c means the constant that don't have unknown term, that is, that don't have any unknown, which is this 16. Which is 16. So that is b. So the next thing, I'm going to substitute a, b, c to this formula to see what you are going to have. So let's do that now to see what we are going to have. So x will be equal to minus, what is b again? Can be here, minus 8 plus or minus the square root of minus 8 square minus 4a, look at here, c, what is c? Can see here, over 2a. That's what I have now. So the next thing, let's simplify this to see what we are going to have on the net. 2a. Remember, a is 1. So 2 times 1. So let's go. So x will equal to minus times minus. That will be plus 8 plus or minus the square root of. If you take the square root of a negative number that is bracket together, we change to plus. So a square will give us 64. So if you have something like this, let's say minus 1 squared, the answer will be plus 1. If you have minus 1, let me just do it this way. If you have minus a number, raised to power even number, the answer will become positive. If you have negative of a number raised to power odd, the negative will remain. Take note. If the power is odd, negative will remain. If the power is even, negative will change to plus. Take note of that. Is very, very important. That's why that 8 is changing to, that minus is changing to plus 64, because the power is even, which is 2. It's even number. So minus 4 times 16. I think it's still 64. 64. Then over 2. So this is going to give us. Okay, let me just solve it to the downside. X will now be equal to 8 plus or minus square root of 64 minus 55 is 0 over 2. That will give us square root of 0 is 0. So we're going to have 8 plus or minus 0 over 2. So we have 8 plus or minus 0 over 2. So take note of that. Let me widen the board. So remember, we're having 8 is equal to 8 plus or minus 0 over 2. So to get the final answer now, what I'm going to do is just be x will now be 8. If I take this plus 0 over 2, or 8, then you take this minus again, minus 0 over 2. So that's going to give us 8 plus 0, that is 8 over 2, that is 4. Or 8 plus 0, 8 minus 0, that is 8 divided by that is still 4. So s is either 4 or 4. You can also see s is equals to 4, then twice. Just put twice because it's 2 times. So that's how it is. So this is how to solve quadratic equation. Because this logarithmic question led us to quadratic equation, which was s squared minus 8 plus 16 is equal to 0. So that was a quadratic equation. So that quadratic equation, which was s squared, let me write it out, which was s squared minus 8x plus 16 is equal to 0. This was the quadratic equation we had when we were solving the logarithmic equation. So that was what we used the Almighty formula for. So this is how you solve quadratic equation with formula method. Now the best method for this quadratic equation is calculator method. If you want to use calculator method, it's very simple. What you have to do, just press mode. Just press mode. Just press mode 5 3. You press mode 5, then you press 3. Then something like this will come up. You see a box like this, another box like this. When you are using Casio calculator or Casio FX991ES plus, then 3 boxes will come out. So those A, B, when say A is equals to 1, B is equals to minus 8, C is equals to 16. This A, you just press 1. That is for A. That is the box for A. Then B is equals to minus 8. So you press minus 8 here. Then as you are pressing, if you press 1, then you press equal to. You move to this other one. You press minus 8 here. You press equal to. You move to this one. Use 16. Press 16 there. You press equal to. Let me just quickly teach you so that you see it. So as I teach you now, you try it. The question was s squared minus 8x plus 16 is equals to 0. If you want to use calculator for this now, just press mode 5, then you press 3. Press mode 5, then you press 3. Press mode, press 5, then press 3. Then you will see something like this. Something like this. The next thing you're going to do is to get that ABC that I quoted when I was doing that equation. Remember, I told you A is what? The coefficient of this S square. Or instead of you to be getting that, just check for the coefficient of S square, which is 1. So just press 1 here. You just press 1. Just press 1. Then you press equal to sign. The cursor will move to this other one. Then what is the coefficient of this S? Minus 8. So you press minus 8. You press equal to again. The cursor move to this third one. Then what is the constant? 16. Press 16. Then you press equal to 2 times. This is the procedure for calculating quadratic equation with your calculator. You press equal to the last question, you go to press it 2 times. Then you see S1, then S2. So S1 will be 4, S2 will also be 4, since the answer to this question was 4 2 times. So you try it now with your Casio calculator, Casio FS991 ES Plus. Try with that calculator to see if you get the answer before you continue on this video. So let's move to the next question. Now let's look at this question. If log x square minus 3x plus 12 to base 10 is equal to 1, what must be the value of x? What will be the what? The value of x. Remember the first one we did. Since this one is carrying bracket, it means everything here is acting as 1. So that log, which is s square minus 3x plus 12, must be equal to this base here, which is 10 raised power that anything in this other side, which is 1. That s square minus 3x plus 12 is equal to 10 raised power 1 is what? 10. So now have s square minus 3x plus 12. We're going to move this 10 to this other side because this is a quadratic equation, as you can see. So we want to equate it to 0. So if 10 moves to this other side, we turn to minus 10 equal to 0. So we're having s square minus 3x 12 minus 10, that is plus 2, equal to 0. S square minus 3x plus 2 equal to 0. So let's clean the board down so that we can solve this quadratic equation. I want you to try this one with your calculator now, because I'll just tell you the answers now, then you go and do it with your calculator or with automatic formula, anyone you like. Remember, we're having s square minus 3x plus 2 is equals to 0. So you are free to try this one out with either, just try this equation out with either almighty formula that I used, or you use calculator method, which is to press mode 5 3, then you press 1 for A equal to, then you press minus 3 for B equal to, then you press 2 for C equal to twice, then you get your answer. So the answers are going to be S is either going to be equal to 1 or S will be equal to 2. So try and solve this thing to get this S equal to 1 or 2 is very, very important. Now let's try this question, which is if log 8 to base t minus log 16 to base t square is equals to 1, what will be the value of t? What will be the value of t? Now, we have two logarithms here. You cannot just say log a is equal to b raised to power c. No. Before we can do that, everything here must be a single log, must be a single log. Just one logarithm. Yeah. So we are going to simplify this one first to see what we are going to have. Now let's simplify. Now what's minus in logarithm? Minus signify division. If you have log a minus log b, it will be equal to log a divided by b. So that will work. But look at another thing. The base of this one is t, but the base of this one is t squared. Before that law will work, the bases must be the same thing. So we have t. How can we make this one t as well? We have to remove these two from this place. Now, do you remember something like this? We said log a to base b raised power x is equals to either, we stated it in two ways. It's either 1 over, remember the rules of introduction to logarithm class we did. If you have not watched that one, go back and watch that. They're very important. The best academic introduction to logarithm. We want to be 1 over x log a to base b. If you want to move this s from this way to this back, you take the inverse of that power. Or you can also move it to this power to become the power of a. You can also move it directly to become the power of a. It will now be log a raised power 1 over x to base b. Okay, in case you don't still understand this one, look at what I mean. Look at what I'm trying to say. If you have log a to base b raised power x, and you want to move this power to this other one, you want to move it from the upper side to the downside. From the downside to the upper side, that is from the base to the log. What you do, you will just take the inverse of the power, which is 1 over the number there. That will be 1 over x. Will become the power of that. Then b will be free. So that's how to move power from base to log in logarithm. Just take the inverse of the power, then you are free to move it there. So why are we saying this now? Because we want to move that way away from there. I want to take it to go and meet that 16, because that's the only way this rule will work out. Because there's no coefficient here, there's supposed to be coefficient here or here for the rules to work. So we're going to remove these two now to this side. That's what I'm trying to see. So we're going to have log 8 to base t minus log 16 to base, is it to raise power what now? I want to move this power to this side. Log 16 raised power what now? This power 1 over 2. It will not be 2. Then t will not be free. It's equals to 1. So next thing, what is 16 raised power 2? That's the next thing. What is 16 raised power 2? Now 16 raised power 2 means the square root of 16. That's the meaning. It means the square root of 16, which is what? What is the square root of 16? 4. Remember that you go to square and the answer of 16 is 4. So we're going to have log 4 to base t is equals to 1. So we have log 8 to base t minus log 4 to base t is equals to 1. So what is next? What is next to do now? We're going to apply the root of indices, which means minus means log, because the bases are now free. The coefficients are also free. So we can apply the roots of indices. Let me clean the board. So we're having log 8 to base t minus log 4 to base t is equals to 1. So next thing, applying the roots of indices, which means that log a minus log b to base, let's say base x, base s. If the bases are the same thing, then that will be log a over b to base x. So that's what I'm trying to say. Just apply the roots of indices now. We're going to have log 8 divided by 4 to base t. Because minus a logarithm means what? Division. So take note of this. If you have, in case you don't see no, if you have log a to base x minus log b to base x as well, the answer will become, if the two bases are the same, the answer will become log. Pick one of the log, then you divide both a and b, a over b to base x. If it is plus, okay, this is for division, this is for minus. So now let's for if it's plus. If it's plus like this, you just pick one of the log, then you multiply the two. It don't be a times b. That's how it's going to be to base x. Multiply if it is plus. Take note of that. It's very, very important. Also, we just did there. Say log 8 to base t minus log 4 to base t equal to log 8 divided by 4. Then it's equal to what? 1. Now, this will give us log 8 over 4 is 2 to base t is equals to 1. So check what we are now having here. Now we are now having log 2 to base t is equals to 1. Remember when we started this class, I told you, if you have something like this, anything you have here must be equal to what you have here raised to power what you have here. So what I have here now, 2, it must be equal to, this is base, which is t raised to power this other side, which is 1. So t raised to power 1 is tt, and it's equals to 2. So t in that question must be equal to 2 for the equation to be valid. Now let's look at more questions. All right, now let's look at this question. Log 1 to base x plus log 27 to base s cube is equals to 2.5. What will be x? That is the question now. Now, the first thing, remember what we did. This is x. This must be x. So we are going to remove this 3 and put it here to become the power. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have log 81 to base x plus log 27. We want to move this power to this place. So the 3 will change to what? 1 over 3. You take the reciprocal, then s will now be free, then equal to 2.5. The next thing, we are going to, what is the cube root of 20? This 27 raised to power 1 over 3 means the cube root of 27, which is 3. I already explained that. It means the cube root. If you find the cube root, it means which number will go to cube, which number will go to put 3 on top, and the answer will be 27. That's the meaning of this. That number is 3. So you can also use calculator to find the cube root of 27. It will be 3. So I'm going to write it like that. We're going to have 81 here to base x plus log 3 to base x is equal to 2.5. Then the next thing we are going to do now will be, let's go. Let's clear the board now. Then simplify this using the rules of this logarithm. So we have log 81 to base x plus log 3 to base x is equals to 2.5. So the next thing will be log, look at it. What is the meaning of plus in logarithm? We have log 81 plus log 3. Both bases are the same. So I'm going to pick one of the log, and what I'm going to do to the numbers, we're going to multiply them. 81 times 3. Remember, if it is minus, we divide. If it's plus, we just multiply. It's equal to 2.5. So what is 81 times 3? 81 is 3 raised to power, that will give us 3 raised to power 5. That's what I'm going to have. 3 raised to power 5. That's what we're going to have 3 raised to power 5, because 81 is 3 raised to power 4 times 3. Again, that will give us 3 raised to power 5. Or it can also be 243. It can also be 243. Remember, the base is x. We're going to have log 243 to base x is equal to 2.5. So at this stage now, what I'm going to do at this stage, what I'm going to do at this point, if you have something like this, I told you, anything you have as the log, which is 243, that's 243, must be equal to the base raised to power anything in this side, is s raised to power 2.5. So let's go. What's the meaning of 2.5? Okay, to just be very fast, if you want to be very fast and you have a very good calculator, what you have to do here now, just take 2.5 root. Just take 2.5 root of this side. Also take 2.5 root of this 243. This will cancel this. Our s will now be equal to, what is 2.5 root of 243? Just press your calculator, just press shift root, then go and put 2.5 in this place. Just put 2.5 in this place, not 2.5 root. No, you press shift root, we use something like this. Then in this place now, you go and put 2.5 there. You put 243 in this other side to see what you are going to have. So that will be very fast. It will be faster, and that will be 9. That becomes the answer. If you have a very good calculator, just press shift root, or even press this button itself. This button that looks like this. Just press the button that will take the shape. Come to this place, put 2.5, come to this place, 243. So that will give you the value of x. Or you can also do it this way. Remember we said 243 is equal to s is power 2.5. You can say, okay, we have 243 is equals to s is power, what is 2.5? 2.5 means 5 over 2. That's the meaning. It means 5 over 2. So what we are going to do now, we are going to take the 5 over 2 root, which I did before. It's still the same thing, just as you want to use your head now. That's why you are doing it like this. So you just take 5 over 2 root of this side. So take 5 over 2 root of this 243. S is power 5 over 2. So this one will cancel this. That's what I'm trying to say. So the next thing now will be, what will be left here will be x. Then what about this other side? We have 243 raised power. Remember, if it is something like this, cube root of x, it will be s raised to power 1 over 3. Can you still remember that? So you're just going to take inverse of that root. So what is the inverse of 5 over 2? That is 2 over 5. That is the inverse. You just take the inverse of this one. That's all. If it is 4, then you take 1 over 4. If it's 3, you take 1 over 3. If it's 4 over 2, take 2 over 4. You just take the inverse of that. So that x will now be equal to, what is 243 in indices? It is the same thing as 3 raised to power 5. Then now, that raised to power 2 over 5. This will cancel this. S will be equal to 3 raised to power 2, which is also 9. So why stressing yourself? Why stressing yourself when you can just press calculator to just take s to be equal to the 2.5 root of 243? Your calculator that will just give you 9 directly. So don't stress yourself like this. Ensure you know how to use calculator. It's very, very important, and we are going to be teaching you here how to use your calculator effectively. Now let's move to the next question. Let's look at this question. Log 3 to base x plus log x to base plus log x to base 3 is equals to 2.5. What is the value of x? For this particular question now, what will be the value of x? Want to solve this, look at what you're going to do. Firstly, this base is x and this base is 3. So we have to make the two of them 3 or both of them x, depending on what you like. So I want to make both of them 3 since I already have 3 here. So there is one rule that states that if you have log a to base b, like this, we have log a to base b is the same thing as 1 over log b to base a. There's one law like that in logarithm. If you want to change law of change of base. If you want to move base to the log and log to the base, you just take the reciprocal of everything, it will change. If you want to move A to this downside and B to this upper side, just take 1 over everything to change. So that's what I want to do now. I want to use that law or that rule to move this 3 downwards. So what we're going to do, we'll just take 1 over everything here. Then 3 will come down, S will go up. So I'm going to have log x. Then 3 will come down plus log x to be 3 is equals to 2.5. Is equals to 2.5. So there's something nice here now. In the sense that we can linearize this equation. We can linearize this equation by multiplying everything with log. We can multiply some with log, multiply some with log, multiply some with log to make everything very lovely. To make everything very lovely. But before we do that, because we're already going to logarithm quadratic equations, I would like to look at what we can multiply directly, no problem. But I want to, since we have log s to be 3 here, and you have log s to be 3 here as well. Now let me teach you something. If you have logarithmic question of this nature, in which you have two same logarithm in 2 places or in 2 different terms in one equation, this and this, check they are the same thing. So just as we were doing that time, we were doing what is it called, indices. If you have 2 raised power s in 2 different places, you say let it be equal to y. That's how we still do this one now. So we're going to say let log 3 to base, okay, log x to base 3 be equal to y. That's what I want to do now. So that we'll have 1 over y. If you say let this one be equal to y, let this one be equal to y, we're going to have 1 over, that is 1 over, we say everything here should be y plus, so everything here should also be y, is equals to 2.5. If you check now, it's called that the equation have reduced. It's not very, something like very simple. In if you look at it, very simple. That's why I just say let's replace this and this with a single variable, so that the equation will be something like very lovely to see. So you can look at this one now. If you look at that very well now, it's very nice to look at. So let's solve that one. Then from there we'll get our x. So let's go. So remember, well, we said 1 over y plus y is equals to 2.5. The next thing now, we are going to multiply everything with this y needed on this one, so that will go. We will multiply everything with y. Y times 1 over y. Y and y will cancel out. So we're going to have 1 there plus y times, this y is going to multiply everything, So y times 1 over y, they will cancel out. Y times y, that will be y squared. Y times 2.5, that will be 2.5 y. So at last now, we have quadratic equation. So I'm going to move this one now to this side. So I'll write this y square first. We have y square. Then I'll write this one next. But if you move to this side, it will become minus. It's already plus here, since you don't have any sign. Minus 2.5y. Then we have 1 here, which is plus 1. Is equals to 0. So y will be equal to, now if you solve this quadratic equation now, with either your calculator or formula method, our a is 1, b is minus 2.5, then c is 1. We solve this, y is going to be as follows. Y will be equal to, press mode 5, 3, then you go through the procedure. Y will be equal to either 1 over 2, or use automatic formula, or 2. The 2 values you are going to get for y. So since we have y to be equal to this, what is y again? We always say let y be equal to something. We say let y be equal to that time. We say let y be equal to 1 log 3 to base x. Abi s to base 3. S to base 3. So since y is equal to this now, I'm just going to replace the s component of y back. So we are not going to be using y again, we are going to be using this. And that will be equal to this half and this. That's what we do now. So you can also say log x to base 3 is equals to, what is the first value of y? 1 over 2. So if you have something like this now, how will you solve it? Something like this, how are you going to solve it? So you have this, which is x, must be equal to this, which is the base, is power this, which is 1 over 2. Same thing as s is equal to, anything raised by 1 over 2 means the square root of that thing, which is root 3. So that's the first value of x. Now let's look at the second value of x. Look at the second value of x. For this, y is equal to 2. What we just did now, look at what we did. Y is equal to this, and y is also equal to this. That means this is equal to this, and this. So as ABCD. Because we don't even have y as the question. We're the one that said let this one be called y. So what you just have to do is just to bring this and replace it with y. So anywhere you see y, just put this one there, because that is actually y. That is what we called y before. So that's what we are doing here now. So let's clean the board. So our x is equals to root 3. That's the first one. Then for y is equals to 2 now. After it's equal to 2. Remember y is equals to log x to base 3 is also equal to 2. Next thing, our x will be equal to the base, which is 3 raised to power this, which is 2. Anything you have here must be equal to what you have here raised to power what you have here. That will be equal to what? 9. So we said s is either equal to root 3 or s is equal to 9. Any of them is proper and very, very correct. So this is how you solve mathematics. You do it gently, one after the other. Don't be afraid. Follow rules. That's all. So look at another example. Now let's say we have this question. If log let's say log 10, that's log s, not log 10, log s to base 10 raised to power 2 plus 2 log s to base 10 again plus 1 is equal to 0. What will be the value of s? If you check very well now, you discover that we have same log in two places here. Look at it. I already told you, if you have same log in two places, what do you need to do? Replace the log with an unknown term. So you're just going to say let y be equal to that log x to base 10, just like what we did before a few minutes ago. So anyway, you see log s to base 10, you put y. So let's put y here now. We're going to have y there, then 2 on top plus 2. So go to also put y there. Is equals to, okay, we have 1 there. We have 1 there, that's plus 1. This one is equals to 0. So if you check it very well now, it's called that it's quadratic equation. It's quadratic. So that's why you need your calculator beside you. Very, very important. Press mode 5, 3. Then you press 1, you press equal to, press 2, you press equal to, press 1 again, press equal to. So if you do that, y will be equal to -1 or -1. So you have -1 two times. So both of them give you the same thing. So record that. Remember that we call this one y. Look at it. Our y was actually that log x to base 10. So you come back now, you bring log x to be 10 to this place. So we are going to have, therefore, we are going to have log x to be 10 is equals to minus 1. Because y is equals to minus 1 or minus 1. So if you have something like this in logarithm, how do you express it? What you have here, which is x, will be equal to what you have here, which is 10, is for what you have, which is minus 1. That gives you 0.1 answer. If you also do for this, we still give you the same answer, which is 0.1. So s is equal to 0.1 twice. That is how the stuff is. Then if you want to do this directly with your calculator, let me just show you how to do it. Then you check if you can do it. Then we just do a video, then just to help you with it. Look at it. The last question I solved. Okay, let's say any logarithmic equation. If you want to solve a logarithmic equation to calculator, you may decide to just do it like this. Let me use this as an example, as a case study, that log x to be 10 squared plus log x to be 10. That's it was having coefficient, that is 2 log x to be 10 plus 1 is equals to 0. So what you just do, although we already have calculator method for indices, you just see almost the same thing. You look for this log that have a base here and a base here. That is the log you are going to use. So if you press this log for this first one, in the base here you put 10. This other side you put s. How do you press x? Look how to press s. If you press alpha, then you press close bracket. Press alpha button and press close bracket to give you s. S will just show here. Then before you press this log, make sure you press bracket. Before you press log, then you put x here, which is alpha close bracket. Then you put 10 here. Then come back to this place again, close bracket. Then you put squared plus 2, the same log, the same alpha bracket close, using the same logarithm. Then the same thing here. Come back to this way, plus 1. Then if you want to press equal to, don't press that equal to your calculator. No, just press alpha calc. Alpha calc. If you press alpha calc, you see CALC. That will give you equal to what? Then you put 0 here. Now to solve the equation out now, just press shift calc. If you press shift and calc, it will tell you solve for s. Then now press equal to give you the answer for this particular logarithm. That is if the calculator can do it, because some manual calculator may not be able to solve big equations. So let's look at last example for you. Just try this. If you are not able to get it, just give us a comment. Just put it in our comment section. People will have to do a video on this I just mentioned. Then I will send it to you guys. Yeah, let's look at the last question for today. So let's assume we have, let's say, if bracket log x to base 10 bracket log x to base 10 then plus 3. This 3 is not with this s because there's no bracket holding the 2. Please take note of that. It's very important. Bracket close, minus 6 is equal to 0. Minus 6 is equal to 0. What will be the value of x? So look at it. The first thing is to open bracket. And I already told you guys, if you discover that we have same log in 2 different places, the same thing, or exactly the same thing. It's not that this one will have square, this one no. It will be the same. And you are adding them or subtracting them. In which if you discover that if you are even adding, it's quite that one of them, if you are adding the 2, it's quite that one of them will have square, other one will not have. But the log are still the same thing inside. It's not log, it's not like this. So let's say log 3 to base x plus log 6 to base x. Not this one, no. This one is 3 to base, this one also be 3 to base x. This is equal to maybe 9. Something like this now. You are free to just say okay, just use substitution to do it, because 3 to base x, 3 to base x, they are in the same places. Then you now use other one to finish it up. So that's what I'm trying to say. So that's the methodology here. So since you have the same thing here, exactly the same, you can just say let y be equal to log x to base 10. So that we are now going to have 5y. We're going to have 5y. Look at it, 5y. Because that one is now, everything here is now y. This one is also y. Then, okay, let me use p. Nothing so only y we do use. Let me just use y. If you like, go and use p. Then bracket open again. This one will also be y plus 3. Bracket close minus c is equals to 0. So next, this times this will give us 5y squared, 5y squared. This times this, we're going to have plus 15y minus c is, just use something to put this bracket, then minus c is equal to 0. So if you check this very well, it's called that is a quadratic equation in which our a is 5, b is 15, c is minus 6. So you can use your almighty formula for that, or quadratic equation, or calculator method. So if you use calculator method now, your y, let me just write it out. We're having is 5y squared plus 15y minus 6 equal to 0. So y will be equal to, if you use your other almighty formula or calculator method, you're going to have the following values for y. You're going to have minus 3.36 or 0.36. That's what you're going to have. So this minus 3.36 and 0.36. Remember our y was actually log x to base 10. So you come back again now. Anyway, see, I just put log x to base 10 now be equal to either this or this. Since one is give us, okay, let me use any of them first. If I'm going to use first, let's try this one. Let's try this one first. Is either equal to this or this. Let's first try one of them, which is 0.36. So if you have something like this, how do you solve it in mathematics? How do you solve that? Anything we have here, which is x, will be equal to what you have here, which is 10, to what you have, which is 0.36. This one is going to give you a value. So that'll be approximately 2.3. So s equals to 2.3 here. Then for the other one, which is at y is equals to this, I'll also say log x to base 10 is equals to minus 3.36. So you can go and solve that one. That's 3.36. So our x will now be equal to 10 raised to power this, 10 raised to power this, which is minus 3.26. So say that s equal to this or s equal to this. This one is very small. There's a very small value, little value. So this one is actually reasonable. So we can just pick this one. Since this one is too small, we can just ignore that. So s is equal to 2.3. That is the answer. Approximately 2.3. So please ensure you study this over and over again. If you have any question, don't forget to put it in our comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like our videos. God bless you all. Thank you.